Immigration Law on your side.
Alright, magandang gabi mga kababayan and welcome to another Immigration Law on your side. Kuya Yo po galing sa PHLV Radio Studio in Las Vegas, Attorney Diza. Katabi ko pero nasa Zoom siya mga kababayan and he is coming from San Francisco, California. Ilang taon na tayong nagbibigay serbisyo publiko para malaman natin ang iba't ibang mga updates at maintindihan ang US immigration. Mga kababayan, I'm sure you have wondered how foreign religious workers come to the United States. Marahil kilala nyo si Father, mga ministers, mga pastors, at iba pang mga religious workers na nandito sa United States. And you're wondering, paano ba sila nakarating dito? Mga kababayan, the religious visa or the R1 visa is available to foreign members of religious denominations and they have non-profit religious organizations here in the US para makarating po dito sa bansa. Para maging minister or mapagpatuloy ang kanilang work as a religious worker, as a profession, occupation, o maging vocation man. With us tonight is Attorney Flo Mediza, as I said, of course, partner from Reeves Immigration Law Group to help us understand R1 religious visa requirements and eligibility. Father Diza, hindi pala Father Diza, Attorney Diza. Kumusta po kayo and welcome to another Immigration Law on your side.
Magandang hapon, Brother Johan.
Yes po.
Magandang ating pag-uusapan ngayon dahil pagtutuunan natin ang pansin ang mga religious workers. At sa ating programa ay na-discuss na natin ang mga registered nurses, physical therapists, mga J1 teachers at mga even caregivers. Diba? So ngayong gabi ay pag-uusapan natin ang mga religious workers. Nabanggit mo Kuya Johan, ang mga pare, diba, ministers, kasama diyan ang mga madre.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Ano ang kanilang visa sa United States at alam natin na ang easiest and fastest way to enter the US and get a green card is to get married, and definitely ang mga pare natin ay hindi magpakasal. Kaya nagtataka tayo paano sila nakakuha ng kanilang mga kanilang immigrant visa at marami, Kuya Johan, lalo na sa California at sa New York and even places na madaming mga Pilipino. Kikita natin lalong-lalo pag simbang gabi, may mga Pilipinong mga pare, di ba? Or may mga designated na rin, in a particular Catholic denomination or group na mayroong mga Pilipino at in fact may mga Tagalog mass na rin.
Mm-hmm.
So itong mga to ay nakuha nila ang kanilang karamihan sa kanila. Kung hindi sila mga pinetition ng kanilang mga magulang ay nakuha ang kanilang visa through what we call religious R1 religious visa. Unang-una ito ay non-immigrant muna, but siguro in the future, Kuya Johan, pag-usapan din natin how to get their green card through a I-360, tawag doon, religious workers. But for now, we are focusing on a non-immigrant, di ba? It's part of the employment-based category where a non-immigrant religious workers coming to the US to work as a full-time, pwede ring part-time at 20 hours a week. Ang tawag sa kanila ay religious worker or R1 workers. They're coming here na-employ, nabanggit mo kanina, ang non-profit religious organizations in the United States. Itong religious organization na to is authorized by a specific group tax exemption or an organization affiliated with any religious denomination in the United States in a religious occupation, vocation, or minister. So kung Catholic Church po ang magpe-petition sa inyo, right, member po kayo doon sa home country, di ba, on that particular sect or denomination.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Attorney, ano naman ang mga criteria by which someone from, for example, the Philippines, or hindi lang sa Pilipinas, mangyaring marami tayong mga kilala, mga religious workers from Southern America, South America, na nandito sa US. Ano naman ang kanilang kailangang, ang mga requirements, Attorney, para mag-qualify sila?
Para mag-qualify po sila, ang mga R1 worker ay kailangan nila ay bona fide member of any religious denomination or non-profit religious organization na nag-ooperate sa United States for at least 2 years before filing the petition. So ibig sabihin nun, Kuya Johan, dapat member sila, hindi yung tipong kami member lang nila, di ba? Let's say a minister or a nun, right? At pwede silang i-petition. So bona fide member sila for at least 2 years bago i-file ang kanilang petition. Now, ito'y kagaya ng mga H-1Bs, mga L-1s, ano po, at pwedeng kunin ang kanilang visa overseas through sa consular affairs, or consulate abroad, or kung mayroon silang mga tourist visa dito, or student visa, pwede rin silang tawag nito, change ng status into R1. So, ang kanilang form dyan ay Form I-129, otherwise known as the Petition for Non-Immigrant Worker. Diba? So, pag na-approve po yun, no, at i-forward yun sa embassy para sa kanilang interview. Now, sa mga Canadian naman, since exempted sila ng visa at kailangan nilang i-provide ang kanilang approval ng Form 797 at sila ay pwede nang pumasok dito sa their R1 or religious worker visa.
Attorney, ano ang mga, right at the bat, ano ang mga benefits that someone with an R1 enjoy? Pwede ba silang, aside from being in the church, pwede ba silang magtrabaho sa iba? Ano pa ba ang ibang kanilang mga benefits?
Yes, unang-una Kuya Johan, karamihan ng mga non-immigrant visa, non-immigrant, ibig sabihin temporary, kagaya ng student visa or even H-1B or mga tawag nito, tourist visa or tourist or for pleasure visa ay may tinatawag na immigrant intent. Now you have to show that you are going back to your home country even you don't have the intent to immigrate in the United States. So dito sa R1, you do not have to maintain a foreign residence and show intent na babalik sa home country mo while applying for a visa. Hindi kasing higpit, di ba, ng mga H-1Bs or mga even J-1s or other non-immigrant visas. Pangalawa, Kuya Johan, yung inyong dependents can stay with you as long as you maintain yung R1 status mo, right? So yung mga anak or yung asawa po ninyo, right? Hindi, yung mga ministers, for example, who are allowed to get married and have kids, they can attend the school, right? Hindi na ninyo kailangan silang i-apply ng student visa. So under the R1, they're authorized to go to school. And then of course, they can travel in and out of the US, lalong-lalo kung pinuha nila ang kanilang visa sa consulate, at pwede silang lumabas at pumasok sa US or pumunta sa Europe or anywhere outside the United States. Now, yung mga kinuha sa ang visa sa consulate, sa US Embassy abroad, pwede yon, yung nabanggit natin una kanina, right? Kung wala silang other visas to come to the US, ideally, i-apply nila ito sa consulate where they currently reside. Now, yung mga nandito naman under a valid visa or they're still in status, kagaya ng tourist visa or student visa or any other types of non-immigrant visa, as long as their status is still valid, then they can change to an R1. So from, let's say, for example, from F1 to R1. So pwede rin silang, pwedeng gawin yon.
Attorney, recently we've been to a few gatherings of these religious organizations. Nagkukulang din sila, katulad ng mga pinag-uusapan natin ng mga nurses. Nagkukulang din sila ng kanilang mga ministers. Ang Catholic Church mahirap din, kulang din ang kanilang mga pare. Are there certain tawag dito exceptions or shortcut dahil parang kumbaga sa nursing may shortage? Meron bang ganyan sa mga religious organizations or sa religious visa?
Yes, wala siyang shortage at ito yung immigrant visa, Kuya Johan, so hindi pa subject to a green card. So technically, it will undergo the same process as other employment-based cases. Right? Ang kinaganda lang nito, Kuya Johan, hindi kagaya ng H-1B, right, na mayroong quota. Which is, di ba, kasi minsan limited ka lang ng number every year, di ba? Hindi kagaya ng H-1Bs na mayroong 65,000 for professional and bachelor's degree holders. So ang liit nun, Kuya Johan, considering na lahat ng professions, lahat ng mga mga graduates ng 4-year course, bachelor degrees or with 4 years experience, mga professionals, nakikipag-compete ka dyan para sa lottery, di ba? So out of the 65,000, there are about almost 400,000 na nag-apply. So ang chances mo is parang 1:4 or 1:5. So in this religious worker visa, Kuya Johan, since kailangan talaga natin dito ang kanilang services, walang quota. So as long as you undergo the same procedure sa mga nag-a-apply ng mga H-1B, yung mga naging napalad sa lottery, then you just file the I-129 and undergo the same process, which is very easy, lalong-lalo na kung meron kayo sponsor, ano? Mas madali actually ito kasi if a file lang nito and then you'll be coming here under R1 and ang maximum is 5 years. Now, compared sa other kind of visa na napag-usapan natin nga, yung H-1B may limitation, ano, 65,000. Mga J-1 naman, Kuya Johan, walang limitation pero mayroong tinatawag na 2 years residency requirement, di ba? So, after ma-maximize nila ang kanilang stay dito in 5 years, right, kailan silang umuwi sa Pilipinas and render yung 2 years residency requirement before they can adjust status through marriage or through employment or change status. So, may mga restrictions. At least itong religious worker, Kuya Johan, walang limitations kagaya ng H-1Bs and J-1s.
Attorney, I'm curious about the organizations that are able to petition or use this particular benefit for their workers. Katulad po ng, for example, itong maraming mga religious denominations, meron silang operations dito sa United States. Ano po ang requirement ng USCIS dito sa organization na ito? Are there certain documents that you have to prove or you have to acquire para maging eligible yung organization to be able to petition the workers?
Yes, ang organization ko yun, hindi necessarily na malaki yan, kagaya ng Catholic Church, right? In fact, marami tayong mga small churches na nagpa-file ng petition, right? Yung mga hindi mo naririnig, although ang Christian faith, di ba, ang daming mga branches yan, di ba? May mga Iglesia ni Cristo, may mga Christian, may mga Baptist, and there are mga subcategories pa yan na may mga sarili silang incorporations. So ang kailangan nilang i-prove, of course, kailangan silang religious organization na mayroong IRS 501c 3 letter. Ito'y patunay na sila ay tax-exempt organization, right? Religious and tax-exempt is sa mga requirements yan. So kung sakaling yung organization na yan ay recognized as tax-exempt under a group tax exemption, kailangan sila mag-provide ng mga documents para i-support ang kanilang claim na sila ay tax-exempt. No? Kung sila naman affiliated, yung nabanggit natin kanina, ito yung parang mother organization, tapos may mga subgroup din sila, kailangan i-provide ang kanilang mga IRS-issued valid determination na ito'y under ng mother organization. So, or any other document that proves religious purposes or nature of the organization. So, kailangan din ng certification, right? A religious denomination certification. Ito ay part ng R1 classification pag nag-fill up po tayo ng form na I-129. Now, hindi lang sa mga organization or mga religious organizations may mga requirements, Kuya Johan. Nabanggit natin kanina, yung mga aplikante, kailangan din nilang mag-provide ng evidence that they are a bona fide or bona fide religious worker for at least 2 years. Pwede sila, Kuya Johan, ito mga ministers and priests or religious workers, they are either coming here, as we mentioned kanina, either full-time or part-time. Pwede rin silang salaried or non-salaried. Right? Ibig sabihin yung mga tawag na missionary works, di ba? So, pwede rin silang ma-petition na walang compensation. In fact, ang Catholic or rather mga ministers or mga religious workers, hindi kasing taas ng prevailing wage, di ba? Pag nag-petition tayo ng mga workers, foreign workers, we have to prove ability to pay. Di po ba na kailangan kung kayo engineer sa San Francisco, for example, right? Kailangan bayaran nyo kung ano yung prevailing wage. Considering na mahal ang gastusin dito sa San Francisco, it follows na mahal din ang offer ninyo sa inyong mga employees. But in a situation sa R1 religious worker, mga kababayan, may mga sitwasyon na sila ay volunteers, not really volunteers but missionaries, where they are not being compensated. In a situations like this, of course, kailangan nilang i-prove ang kanilang compensation, lalong-lalo kung mag-extend sila, Kuya Johan. Diba? So, kailangan sila na ito ang kanilang sweldo, diba? Ito ang kanilang expenses, at ito ang kanilang mga other documentations when they apply for a religious worker visa.
Ayun. Marami sa ating mga religious workers, attorney, syempre, supported by the communities. Lalo tayong mga Pilipino, talagang supported natin ang ating mga ministers, pastors, mga pare and everything. Will it count na sasabihin nung merong isang pamilya aampon sa akin, doon ako titira and sila bahala sa akin, and will that help in saying that the applicant will not become a public charge?
That's true, Kuya Johan, kasi kailangan din naman nating ibigay ang kanilang dignity of life, di ba? When they're coming here, whether as a priest or minister or religious worker, but or as a missionary, kailangan din natin sila bigyan ng syempre tirahan, marangal na tirahan at syempre pamumuhay. It doesn't mean na sila yung mga missionaries kung saan-saan na lang sila titira. So, yes, that could be very helpful, especially if we prove that they are self-supporting, kailangan ng either evidence ng kanilang finances, right? Or yung kanilang program na ito'y temporary lang, uncompensated missionary, di ba? Ito ang policy ng kanilang church that they have been sponsoring mga missionaries, and this is where the not income but the support would come from. So in other words, yung mga support from the community when we go to church, di ba, self-sufficient naman sila. A lot of people are giving donations not only for the church but also for the priest.
Ayun, okay. Magandang maintindihan natin. Kanya nga pala yung ating mga community, the support of the community is very important para sa kanilang mga religious workers. At this will be part of, especially kung Pilipino tayo, minsan nami-miss natin yung Pilipino din, ang ating ang pare or ang minister or ang pastor. So
masaya yan, Kuya Johan, kasi usually yan, kagaya dito sa simbahan namin, lalong-lalo ng mga Filipino ang nagkakandak ng mass,
Yeah.
Syempre, lalo na kung simbang gabi, may mga special occasions or nagkakaroon ng simbang gabi, di ba? So bibihira nangyari yan dahil sa Filipino community, sila ang nag-introduce ng tradition na ganyan. So nagkakaroon ng pagsalo-salo during simbang gabi, at saka syempre may mga potluck na rin.
Yeah.
May mga nagpapakain, may mga puto bumbong, di ba? Lahat ng mga tawag dito Filipino dishes and delicacies nagsusubutan lahat. At syempre, yung mga Pilipino dito, lalong-lalo na yung mga bago, sila ay hindi nila namimiss ang Pasko or any special occasion sa ating sa Pilipinas.
Yan, kaya this is really part of the connection, to maintain the connection between your home country and here while you are here in the United States. Kaya napakalaking tulong po talaga ito na merong talagang way for our religious workers na makapunta dito sa United States. Attorney, isa sa mga tinatanong ng ating mga kababayan is say for example, itong mga religious workers, are there any educational requirements? Kailangan ba do they have like a theological background or something lang na inutusan ng kunwari somebody who's very good in public speaking, magandang pastor, magaling na pastor, hahanapin ba yung kanyang credentials bago siya ma-approve?
Well, the good thing about being a minister, right, hindi mo naman kailangan graduate ng bachelor's degree or anything like that. But take note, mga kababayan, ang sa atin para maging pari po kayo, di ba? Sila po yung graduate ng theology, I believe, right? And they have to finish that, and before their ordination, right, kailangan nilang maipasa ang kanilang graduate sila ng theology or any related course, and then they have that ordination. And part of the requirements is, let's say you are being petitioned as a priest, of course, yung educational records po ninyo, yung certificate, yung transcript, etc., and also the ordination. But there are other ministers, Kuya Johan, or other groups of religious workers that they don't really require a bachelor's degree, right? Ang pinaka-primary requirement actually is 2 years bona fide membership ng religious denomination, right? Kung ano yung nature ng service or ng job ninyo back home, dapat i-prove po ninyo yun. Ganun din ang gagawin nyo once you enter the United States.
Will it also help kung nagkaroon ka na ng previous history that you've been approved before and then you want to renew, you want to come back again? Maybe after 10 years, you found your calling again and vocation to come back to the United States. Nakakabalik po ba yung mga dating nabigyan ng R1?
Definitely, Kuya Johan. As we mentioned kanina, ang R1 is valid for 2.5 years, right? And then it can be renewed up to a maximum of 5 years, which is good. I mean, pretty good for a religious worker. But mostly are either they are going back to the home country in the Philippines, right? Babalik sila doon and ipagpatuloy ang kanilang serbisyo bilang religious worker. Or they find ways to immigrate, as we mentioned kanina, if they really want in the to live and work as a religious worker in the US. There's also a way. Yes, definitely, it will be very, very helpful if they have had prior R1 religious worker already in the past.
And then speaking about that, attorney, kalimutan ko itanong sa inyo, how long ang duration ng first approval? 3 years?
2.5 years.
Oh, 2.5.
It's 30 months, 30 months, and then it could be extended for another 30 months, which is total of 5 years. So basically, ang USCIS, they are kind of like hesitant to extend beyond that 5 years gap. Mm-hmm. But definitely, Kuya Johan, it's going to be very helpful nga, as we mentioned kanina, to either explore the options to get the green card already. Marami tayong mga clients din that we file the R1, and then pagdating ng R1, 5 years is a long, di ba? It's long time to explore the options to either get the green card through the religious worker. Kasi merong counterpart, Kuya Johan, ang R1 non-immigrant visa, merong paraan para i-file ang kanilang petition. It is form under I-360, which is a religious worker visa, which I mentioned kanina, could be a subject of another discussion natin. And this is a way for them to obtain the green card. Kasi itong R1 na pinag-usapan natin, Kuya Johan, as we mentioned sa una nating bungad kanina, ang R1 is a non-immigrant, di ba? Non-immigrant, they are required to go back to their home country 2 years, 2.5 years, up to the maximum of 5 years. And then either they have to go home or file for a green card application under 360 religious workers.
Itong immigrant petition, attorney, does it fall under any of those na pinag-usapan natin before? EB 1, 2, 3, 4? Which one of that might apply to them?
EB, under siya ng EB4.
EB4. Wow.
Oo, the EB4. Kasi yung EB1, extraordinary ability, di ba?
Yeah.
EB2, yung mga may mga master's or doctorate degrees, right? Yung mga advanced education. EB3s are usually yung mga skilled workers, mga professionals and unskilled, di ba? And then EB4, marami yung mga EB4, Kuya Johan, kasama dyan ang religious workers, yung mga CGs, which is hindi pa natin pag-uusapan, ito yung mga children, right? Yung mga abandoned children, yung mga neglected children, siguro pag-usapan din natin one time yan, right? At saka kasama din yung battered spouse or self-petition under battered spouse. They fall under I-360.
Attorney, for the ministers or the religious workers na pwedeng mag-asawa, katulad nga ng nabanggit nyo kanina, that they could bring their dependents, ano pong derivative visa ang nasa kanya? R2 ba sa kanila?
R2.
Okay.
R2 visa, they're allowed to work. Rather, they're allowed to go to school, but they're not allowed to work.
Okay, so hindi pwedeng magtrabaho ang asawa o anak ng R1. Ganun pala yun. Oh.
Pwede silang mag-explore, let's say nasa R2 status yung asawa at sila may bachelor's degree, right? Or meron silang prospective employer, they can transition from R2 to H1B, right? Yung H1B, these are professional workers where they're allowed to work. Pag sila nag-change ng status, that's also possible if they really want to work.
Okay. May mga nagtatanong dito, attorney, siguro sasagutin natin ito kahit sa chat room na lang, kung ano-ano itong mga religious workers ito. Napakarami nito, from ministers and everything, no? From priests, katulad ng nabanggit natin kanina, attorney. Kasama daw ba dito ang mga support staff ng church community? For example, music ministry. Ayan, naitanong na, yung mga choir, kasama daw po ba dito? Will they qualify?
Unfortunately, no. Yung mga support staff, kagaya ng mga choir, mga janitors, cleaners, mga ganyan, hindi po sila kasama as a religious worker. Specifically, yung mga ministers, mga nuns, religious workers, pwede po sila, di ba? They're coming here to preach and spread their beliefs, in the US.
And some of our religious workers, especially yung sabi nyo kanina na meron mga advanced degrees, marami tayong mga kilalang pare na may mga doctoral na yata or something like that, no? So, can they be allowed to come here in the United States not to become a religious worker but to become a professor, for example, sa isang seminaryo? Is that something that can be explored?
Yes, Kuya Johan, that could be possible, but I would rather, if they're coming here to teach or to teach and becoming a professor, the proper visa I would recommend to either file for an H1B or J1.
Okay.
The only advantage, Kuya Johan, kasi professor kayo teaching, di ba? The only advantage of ang priest, Kuya Johan, right, or let's say graduate kayo na ang gusto niyo minister, ang advantage lang hindi limited ng lottery, di ba? Ang 65,000 quota.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm sure mga kababayan, marami kayong mga tanong. We'll head over to a break. Pagbalik natin, attorney, yung walkthrough lang natin sila sa process on how to apply the R1 visa. Mga kaibigan, dyan lang po kayo. Magbabalik po ang Immigration Law on Your Side.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has been representing immigrants for nearly 40 years. Reeves Immigration Law Group has been fighting for its clients through experience and expertise. With immigration lawyers you can access at reasonable fees, even on Saturday. Payment plans are also available. Call us for your immigration solutions. We can do worldwide telephone and Skype consultations. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009. Reeves Immigration Law Group has offices in Los Angeles, San Francisco, China, and Philippines. See us at www.rreeves.com. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009.
Alright, nagbabalik po ang ating Immigration Law on Your Side. Dito po sa PHLV Radio, hatid po sa atin ang ating mga kaibigan from Reeves Immigration Law Group. Nakita nyo sa ating screen si Attorney Diza via Zoom from San Francisco, California. Attorney, bago natin isa-isahin ang proseso kung paano po kayo makokontak ng ating mga kababayan kung kailangan nila magtanong at baka minister sila o kaya pastor sila, baka meron sila mga tanong, paano po kayo makokontak?
Sa lahat ng mga religious workers, ministers man, pare, or mga madre, right, or even any professions for that matter, or anything that pertains to U.S. immigration, we are here to give a legal service sa mga kababayan natin. Ang aming law firm, Reeves Immigration Law Group, we are based in California. My office here in San Francisco and Walnut Creek. We have office in Makati and Pasadena and also in China. Ang office number po namin ay 415-568-3777. You can also check our website page. Nandun aming mga teams, mga lawyers, mga specialists, ang aming mga services, ang aming mga success stories. Reeves Immigration Law Group, i-key-in po ninyo yan. And also you can make an inquiry online, right, on that website. And also like our social media accounts, yung aming Facebook page, Reeves Immigration Law Group, FJ Diza US Immigration Lawyer, ang aming mga Twitter and Instagram, ay follow po ninyo. But definitely sa pinakamagandang updates ay aside from our social media, mag-subscribe din po kayo sa aming newsletter which we publish every week at makikita nyo mga updates, makikita nyo sa inyong email. So just go to our website at www.reevesimmigration.com and mag-subscribe po kayo sa aming weekly news on immigration.
All right. And now, attorney, gusto na nilang mag-apply. Paano po ba ang proseso ng ating R1 visa?
So, yung napag-usapan natin kanina na yung employer po ninyo, at nag-gather yung mga requirements on the employer side at sa mga religious worker side, yung mga qualifications ninyo at mga documents, right? I-file po natin yung petition with USCIS. The same thing ganoon din sa mga H1Bs, mga L1s, yung mga employment-based visa, yung I-129. This is a petition for non-immigrant workers in the US. So pag na-approve po yan, siguro in 6 months time, then it goes to the embassy where you currently resides, no? And then once you get that approval, look at the website at mag-fill up kayo ng form. Ito yung non-immigrant visa form to I-160. Siyempre bayaran din yung mga tao nito yung filing fee, which is around 260 na siya ngayon, right? Pagkabayad po ninyo, schedule nyo ng interview, right? So basically para lang siya sa mga I-129 kagaya ng as we mentioned nga kanina, H-1Bs, pati mga artists and performers, ganun din ang process, Kuya Johan, right? And then once you pay the fees, magkakaroon kayo ng schedule ng interview, and of course, you have to wait for your interview. Once you go to the embassy, you have to prepare yung mga documents. Of course, yung proof of the approval ng inyong petition, right? At saka yung proof ng payment ng inyong DS-160 form, yung inyong Form 160. Siyempre, kailangan nyo ng valid passport when you go to the embassy, right? At saka yung photographs po ninyo, yung passport size, and then yung mga documents of eligibility, although you already submitted all these requirements sa inyong application form, dalhin pa rin ninyo, especially mga originals. Very important siyempre yan, yung evidence that you are a member of the religious denomination for the past 2 years. At saka yung mga letters proving your religious affiliations, right? Yung kontrata ninyo sa inyong employer. So this is an employment based, tandaan natin kahit religious worker po kayo, right? You still have to have that employment letter with your petitioner. Of course, yung educational requirements po ninyo, right? Nabanggit natin kung kayo pare, graduate kayo ng theology, right? At kayo po may na-ordain. Proof of financial support or documents that show the employer will compensate you during your stay in the US. Right? Kung kayo po ay compensated at kung kayo po ay missionary, right? Volunteer work, then you have to show that you are able to survive and finance and be able to live in the United States. So yun yung process, Kuya Johan. Medyo madali ito compared sa petition into a green card kasi may mga waiting time, di ba? Usually sa mga employment-based cases. But in this R1, religious non-immigrant visa, mas mabilis kasi siguro in less than a year, nandito na po kayo if you do the paperwork correctly.
Wow, all right. Okay, kung meron pa silang mga ibang mga katanungan, attorney, regarding the application. For example, when they're in the Philippines, pwede nilang makontak yung ating Makati office, attorney?
Yes, ang aming Makati office, Kuya Johan, we have 4 to 5 staff na tumutulong at nag-assist sa ating mga kababayan diyan sa Pilipinas, right? And they can also set consultation. In fact, most of our consulting clients, Kuya Johan, ay nakukuha ng ating Makati office. So especially at the end of the day in the United States at kayo tumatawag, na-intercept o nakukuha po ng aming Makati office, and they can set you a conference or consultation with any of the lawyers here at Reeves Immigration Law Group.
All right. Attorney, once nagkaroon na sila ng R1 visa, they're performing their religious work dito sa United States, and katulad ng napag-usapan natin kanina, they found an opportunity to transition into a green card. Ano po, attorney? At nandito na sila sa United States. Will they, kailangan pa ba nilang tuloy-tuloy yung kanilang religious work o pwede na silang mag-ibang industriya? For example, andito sa Las Vegas, biglang, ayoko nang mag-minister. Dito na ako. I'll go to in the gaming industry or whatever. Tech industry, dyan sa California, for example. Can they shift careers while they're here already?
Yeah, the question there, Kuya Johan, at mga kababayan is kung mayroon kayong employer, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
How would you change from R1 into a H1B, right, or J1? So that's possible, right? Let's say, kailan mo pa rin ang employer. That's the difference. Yun ang difference, Kuya Johan. In as much as you really wanted to change career, kailangan mo pa rin ng employer to change status in order for you to be in legal and valid status in the United States.
Eto, attorney,
But,
sa pangtanong din, kung po pwede daw sila mag-study at mag-F1 na. Well, tapos na yung kanilang R1, nakakuha sila ng university to further their theology, for example. Can they switch to F1?
Yes, that's perfectly possible, mga kababayan, especially if you can show that you have the ability to go to school, right? So kailangan yung magharap ng school, and the school will provide you yung I-20, and then you can change status into an F1 visa. Well, interestingly, Kuya Johan, marami mga nag-explore, mga kababayan natin. I have clients who were priests, ministers, nuns who came here under R1 visa, and then their employer, no, yung mga religious organizations, either they did not want to petition them into the green card. The others went through either meron silang magulang dito na naghintay na rin sila ng priority date, at when they're here on a valid status at naging available yung visa, they can also change status, right? And that's a good thing about US immigration, because if there are options for you, pwede kang mag-shift, right? And the other thing, Kuya Johan, and believe me, may mga pare na na-realize nila that you know, priests may not be their lifetime profession, and they found love while they're here, right? And they get married to a citizen. And of course, I have seen many clients who were in the religious denominations, may mga pare and madre, where they get married and were able to adjust status into a permanent residency through marriage.
Actually, isa yun sa mga hidden questions na gustong itanong ng ating mga kababayan at nasagot na ni Attorney Diza, just in case. You never know, nandito kayo sa Amerika.
Medyo tinitignan ng immigration ang inyong history, right? If you're really into a valid relationship, right? Lalong-lalo kung nasa later age po kayo na nag-asawa na or something, kumbaga, it's a higher standard and there's a red flag on that application. But if you're able to prove that this is a legitimate relationship, then there's no reason for USCIS to deny your case. If you can prove that this is a legitimate relationship despite the fact that you were a formerly religious worker.
Nako, magandang kwentuhan ito. And guys, keep the conversation going. Kung meron pa kayong mga tanong, just put it in our chat box or send us an email para po naman masagot ni Attorney Diza. Attorney, at this point, meron pa po ba kayong ibang gustong idagdag regarding our R1 visa discussion?
Yes, this is one way of exploring options sa ating mga religious workers. Nabanggit natin kanina, Kuya Johan, mga pari, ministers, nuns, or any religious organizations coming here, you know, to spread their belief and faith, regardless of the organizations or church that you belong. This is one way of exploring the options, right? We are able to help you. We've been doing this for the last 40 years. Any kind of visa, mapa-religious worker, teachers, or registered nurses, caregivers. So we do all kind of immigration stuff, Kuya Johan. And one way to bring people here is an R1, and yung mga kababayan natin who are qualified, don't hesitate to call our office. You can see our phone number on the screen.
All right. Maraming salamat, Attorney Diza, for your insights regarding dito po sa R1 visa. Ngayon, alam na namin kung ano ang mga visa ng ating mga paboritong mga kaparian galing sa Pilipinas na nandito sa Las Vegas, dyan sa California din. At katulad po ng nabanggit nyo kanina, this is really a beautiful way of bringing in our religious culture or background from the Philippines. Nandito tayo sa Amerika, yung mga nasa Catholic faith, meron silang nagkakaroon sila ng tawag dito, yung simbang gabi katulad ng na-mention nyo. So magandang experience. And for the other denominations naman, nagkakaroon ng in language or mas connected sila dahil nga Pilipino ang kanilang pastor. So mga kaibigan, pinag-usapan po natin ngayon ng R1 religious visa, and kung meron pa po kayong ibang mga tanong, tawagan lamang po ang ating mga kaibigan sa Reeves Immigration Law Group. Attorney, baka meron kayong mga announcements from Reeves Immigration Law Group?
Maraming salamat. Unang-una maraming salamat Kuya Johan and of course PHLV Radio sa mga kababayan natin. Patuloy po tayong tangkilikin ang Immigration Law on Your Side at lahat ng mga magagandang programa ng PHLV Radio. Makinig po tayo, manood at i-share sa ating mga Facebook and other social media platforms ang lahat ng programa ng PHLV Radio. At maraming salamat sa patuloy niyong pagtangkilik sa ating programa. At of course, kung may mga immigration questions po kayo, you can always reach us dito sa opisina. We speak all, mostly our Tagalog, mostly our Filipino dialects. Marami tayong mga paralegals and of course, other languages kagaya ng Spanish, Chinese, Mandarin, and other languages. So marami pong tutulong sa inyo kung may makakilala kayo o kamag-anak who needs immigration service. Maraming salamat ulit Kuya Yo, and hopefully, I will be able to join you dyan sa Las Vegas on the meet and greet on the August 19 sa mga bagong teachers na i-welcome ng Las Vegas. There are more than 150, I think, or 140 something teachers who are newly hired from the Philippines, and hopefully I will be able to join you on that day, August 19 from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat at mabuhay, Kuya Johan.
Maraming salamat Attorney Diza, and I'm sure maraming nakatanong ating mga bagong teachers, mga kababayan na dadating dito sa Las Vegas. Ang binabanggit po na Attorney Diza ay itong mga guro ng Clark County School District dito sa Las Vegas area na galing po sa Pilipinas. Karamihan sa kanila ay mga special education teachers. Attorney, maraming salamat, and again mga kababayan, ito po ang Immigration Law on Your Side. Hatid po sa atin ng ating mga kaibigan from Reeves Immigration Law Group. Hanggang sa susunod po, we will see you next time.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has just brought you Immigration Law on Your Side. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific on PHLV Radio.